Thank you, Kate. Sunstone Metals has two gold and copper porphyry projects in Ecuador, and for reference, in the last 10 to 20 years, there's only been one discovery in Australia of comparable size and scale and quality as to what we have with Sunstone, and that's De Grey's Hemi deposit in Western Australia. Hemi is a resource of 10 million ounces, and at Bramaderos we have an exploration target of 10 million ounces of copper, gold and silver, and including a 2.7 million ounce resource at Brama Elba, and which we're looking to continue to grow. De Grey today, pre-construction, is a $3 billion company, and Sunstone has two deposits of the same quality at Bramaderos and at El Palmar. I joined the company earlier this year in April and have been working through a strategy with the existing team, Malcolm Norris, and the Sunstone management team to define a pathway forward to unlock the value that we have at Sunstone. Many of you will know Malcolm and his colleague Bruce Rawlack have had an amazing career of large-scale, world-class porphyry discoveries around the world, including when Malcolm was CEO of SolGold and made the discovery of Cascabel, which is a 3 billion tonne copper-gold porphyry project in Ecuador. Both Malcolm and Bruce were intrepid when they made the discovery of Tujuh Bukit in Indonesia, which is now owned by Medeka. And both were with Western Mining when Malcolm was country manager of the Philippines, when they discovered Tampakan, which is the fourth largest copper and gold deposit in the world. Of course, we also have two more recent discoveries, being Bramaderos and El Palmar. And in the next 6 months, we have three catalysts which we are looking to deliver that should see a significant increase in our share price. The first is to continue drilling at Limon and establish a maiden resource at Limon to complement the resource that we have at Brama Elba. At El Palmar, we're looking to convert the drilling that we've done to date into a resource, and we've started preparation of a resource for El Palmar based on the 14,000 metres of drilling done to date, and combined with Limon and Brama Elba, seeking to take our resource above 5 million ounces. And third, we're actively in discussions to bring a partner into El Palmar to be able to continue drilling and unlock the huge amount of value that we have at the El Palmar deposit in northern Ecuador. I've worked around the world for over 10 years with Xstrata and Glencore, and very excited to be now working with Xstrata and Glencore, very excited to be now working in Ecuador. It's emerging very quickly. There's a very pro-mining government and a president that's actively encouraging responsible mining. There's two world-class copper and gold mines operating in Ecuador, Fruta del Norte and Mirador. All the majors are present. There's a number of projects that are either shovel-ready or going through final permitting, and we expect to be starting construction in 2025. And also there's been a number of significant corporate transactions in the country reflecting the growing excitement and opportunities that exist in Ecuador. The second aspect about Ecuador, which I'm very excited about, is obviously its low-cost strategic advantage. Energy costs are half of what they are in Australia, reflecting the fact that Ecuador is a major oil producer and 90% of its power is generated from hydroelectricity. Labour costs, not surprisingly, are a quarter of what they are in Australia and Canada. The country also benefits from the fact its currency is US dollars and has been protected from the inflation that we've seen around the world in the last few years, and also the hyperinflation we've seen in some countries in South America. Just drilling down, a more advanced project is Bramaderos in southern Ecuador. It's very isolated near the border of Peru. You can see here in the valley is the porphyry deposits, which are the outcropping systems that have come to surface and been eroded away, leaving these hills full of gold and copper and silver. Our project is adjacent to the Pan-American Highway, and in the future will be very easy to develop and mine these big porphyry deposits. This area doesn't have any protected forest, doesn't have any native forest, does not have any indigenous communities, it has a very supportive local community, is looking forward to jobs that come from future mining. And we're fully permitted to drill, and we have access to water and power. As mentioned earlier, we have established a exploration target of over 10 million ounces, reflecting the size and scope of Bramaderos. We've already converted the Brama Alba porphyry into a 2.7 million ounce resource, and we've been more recently drilling at the Lemon epithermal system, which is in the right-hand corner in yellow in the concession map, and looking to convert the exploration target of 1 to 1.7 million ounces into a resource in 2025. These photos are useful just to show the different style of mineralisation. The porphyry at the top is Brama Alba, which we've established a resource. The porphyry is this outcropping hill, which is full of gold and silver and copper. The second photo is Lemon, which is an epithermal system, an epithermal chute coming up from a deeper porphyry. And you can see in this valley, you can see the heavy mineralisation in the background where very little vegetation can grow. And it's over an area of 1 by 1.7 kilometres. The discovery of Lemon only occurred 18 months ago, and since then has quickly grown with the benefit of drilling and trenching that has established this large area of over 1.7 kilometres by 1 kilometre. Drilling to date has been focused on what we call the central chute, a central epithermal chute, has had some phenomenal hits, including almost 200 metres at 3 grams, 125 metres at 2 grams, and drilling results that we put out a couple of weeks ago that included 50 metres at 1.5 grams. And with further drilling, we expect to be able to have a resource out in the first half of next year. A common question since starting with Sunstone is how, as a junior mining company, can we fund a large porphyry system such as Bramaderos? And we have a very clear strategy to get there. First is a stage 1 establishment of Lemon as a gold and silver open pit mine, which potentially producing 100 to 150,000 ounces of gold and silver. That scale of mine is comparable to a Capricorn Resources or Emerald Resources, both two ASX companies producing 120,000 ounces per annum from their 2 mines, and both have market caps of over $2 billion. And the revenue and the balance sheet from that Lemon operation would enable us then to fund the bigger porphyry development of Brama Alba, Melanol, and then over many decades, the other porphyry targets that we have at Bramaderos. Our second project is El Palma in the north and its sister concession Verde Chico. It's a 3-hour drive from the capital, Quito, and it's on this incredible copper belt that's underpinned by the Toachi Fault Zone in northern Ecuador. Next to El Palma is the Codelco's Lurimagua copper deposit, which is almost 1 billion tonnes at 0.9% copper. And 50 kilometres away is the Cascabel project owned by SolGold, which I mentioned earlier. The discovery was made by the Sunstone team. And we see the same geological events and factors that have contributed to those copper deposits are present at El Palma. And this year, just to highlight the prospectivity and the desirable location that we're in, Hancock has committed to investing $120 million to earn a 49% joint venture in the concessions that surround that Lurimagua deposit and that are adjacent to El Palma. At El Palma, we have 5 porphyry targets and have done about 25,000 metres of drilling to date. There's a mixture of at-surface copper and gold porphyry systems and deeper porphyry systems. And this cross-section, first of all, demonstrates the drilling that we've done, focused on T1 and T2, that is shaping up as a large open pit opportunity, potentially initially producing 150 to 250,000 ounces of gold and copper, and allowing then the funding of the deeper and more intense development of these underground porphyry deposits. And just to demonstrate an advantage that we have, next to it is the SolGold El Pala copper gold deposit. that has to go 800 metres below surface to establish a deep underground block cave system. Requires $3 or $4 billion of capital to get that into operations. And we can achieve that at El Palmar through an open pit development for a fraction of that cost. Fortunately, we're in gold, copper and silver, which are all commodities that have been progressing very strongly. There's a number of silver producers and developers here that are benefiting from a record silver price. In gold, we've seen a constant rise in the gold price, and with upcoming interest rates falling in the US, we expect gold price to continue and exceed $3,000 before the end of this year. And in copper, in Xstrata Copper, we identified 10 years ago that we were facing this challenge. I think there's now consensus in the market that copper faces an imbalance for the coming decades, whereby there's a difficulty to bring on new copper supply to be able to keep up with the demands for copper, and it's very difficult to substitute copper. Finally, just to emphasise, we've got 3 catalysts in the coming 6 months. One is to continue drilling to establish a resource at Lemon. The second is to establish a resource at El Palmar. And finally, we are in active discussions to bring in a partner for our El Palmar deposit. Thank you.